Hiya! Every holiday season, people slip into versions of themselves they didn't consent to. Maybe you know exactly what I mean. You walk into a family space or a social space and suddenly you're not you anymore. You're the role they remember. The peacemaker, the fixer, the responsible one, the emotional sponge, or sometimes the basket case. Everyone there is already acting like you somehow owe them an encore performance of whatever role you've always been expected to play. And God help you if you don't jump through their hoops. If this inability of your family to recognize, understand, or appreciate your growth is the largest part of your holiday humbug, you're not alone, not by a long shot. Who am I and how would I know what you're about to face? I'm the Entangled Cynic, and this is my podcast, episode 12. Happy holidays, healthy adult style. So today we're going to talk about your early life programming, particularly as it pertains to who you've been programmed to be around the holidays. We're going to talk about the old emotional scripts and how to protect your energy without apologizing for it. So what exactly is holiday programming? It's just the programming that you've lived with all of your life and that they started off with when you were very young, and it gets worse around the holidays. It's the set of roles you were assigned inside a family system. It was done without your consent long before you knew what boundaries were or that you were entitled to even have them. Those that put you into your role call it tradition, but it's not. It's patterns of behavior. Okay, so maybe that is kind of a tradition, but you know what I mean. These patterns are meant to make sure that you never even think about changing your role or exerting your autonomy. They're in place to make sure you stay in the place they put you. And if they have their way about it, you'll never get out. Why? Because you growing beyond the boundaries they ascribe to you not only makes them uncomfortable because it proves they no longer have control over you, but because your successes, your growth, provides a literal mirror into their own failures, their stagnation, their lack of growth, and their own inability or lack of desire to change their circumstances. You have become a mirror of everything they never even dared to try to achieve in their own lives. So let's go back to these patterns. The ones that are meant to override your hard-won sovereignty. Which label do they use for you? Are you the responsible one who holds everything together? Are you the scapegoat? The one everybody blames for everything? Are you the invisible one? You're lucky if you are sometimes, believe me. The peacekeeper? So all the work is on you to make sure that nobody has any hurt feelings, nobody gets hurt in the feels. Or are you the strong one who never gets to have needs, let alone have them met? And because the holidays have this intense emotional gravity, everyone's roles get reactivated like clockwork. How's it happen? It's a weird kind of almost sinister alchemy. Let's say that last spring you took control over one of the largest Fortune 50 corporations on Earth, and now you're responsible for and have doubled its influence in every first and second world country there is. The family is well aware of this. Parents brag about it to their friends. Everyone looks at you with approval and awe and asks your advice on how to grow their own business. There isn't a person alive who hasn't heard your name and is not awed by your success. But then come the holidays. You think you're going to finally have a little respect from mom, whose constant fussing and fidgeting over how you wore your shirt or that stubborn colic that never stayed down made sure you knew You were just never up to snuff for her. Or Dad, who still shakes his head and clucks his tongue in disappointment because you don't know how to clean a carburetor on a 1967 Cadillac. But it doesn't come. Mom still clucks like a hen, licking her hand and trying to flatten that darn shank of hair that you learned long ago how to use stylishly. And Dad, well, he may pat you on the back and say, well done, but he still has a much better time talking with anyone else about anything other than how your life is progressing. So for as much as you have changed, not only will they almost never acknowledge it, except to brag to others, they'll actually knock you down to make sure you return to the place they put you when you were a child, because your growth makes them uncomfortable unless it serves their egos. They will always see you not just the way they remember you, but the way they want to see you. Your growth doesn't register to them because acknowledging your growth would force them again to acknowledge their own stagnation. And if you deviate from the script for the character they contrived for you so long ago, the system tries to correct you. Usually with passive-aggressive comments, guilt trips, sudden silence. All of that is control. It's not connection. Those are all devices used by manipulators. Passive-aggressive comments, guilt trips, sudden silence, all used by manipulators. There is a concept called group homeostasis. It's how families maintain equilibrium. If one person tries to grow, the system unconsciously or consciously tries to snap them back into place. This is why being around certain people feels like your soul is trying to shrink into non-existence. One of the easiest ways to get out from under their control is with a literally quiet rebellion to protect your energy. See, rebellion doesn't have to be loud. In fact, done with intent, they'll never even know you're rebelling. You already know everyone's script. So you get to use that knowledge to direct the spotlight, to keep it off yourself. That is, if you want peace and to be able to actually enjoy the holiday as much as possible. You can guard your energy. Well, hang on a second. Let me go back to that. And why you may want to keep the spotlight off yourself. The hard part about that is that you have got to keep your ego under control. There's a part of you that is just screaming for recognition. No matter how old you are, no matter how many kudos and accolades you get from the rest of the world all the other time, family will always provoke a visceral gut instinct or a gut need to be recognized as having grown out of what you were. But that is ego. So if you can tame your ego enough to make sure the spotlight stays off of you, I guarantee you your holiday will be so much more peaceful, and you will find what joy it can be to let others perform while you watch. So you can guard your energy and your serenity by bending conversations, bending the energy around you, very much in the same way that light-bending technology would cloak fighter jets and spy planes. Let the energy flow around you. Use your knowledge of everyone and their roles like flaps on airplane wings to direct that energy wherever you want it to go. This way, your energy, your serenity, your calm remains untouched, pardon the pun, flappable. You'll be surprised how nice a holiday can be when no one gets to drag out and rehash their memories of you. It's simple, it's quiet, and it's an easy way to enjoy the show as much as you can without letting them use you as the punching bag for their grievances. Keep in mind that this is about you not giving them your energetic consent. No one gets to access your inner world without your say-so. You don't have to absorb the room's emotional weather. You don't have to match anyone's mood. You don't have to carry what isn't yours. When they try to turn the attention to you, use a micro-boundary strategy without making a fuss. Take a bathroom break. Oh, y'all keep talking, I'll be right back. Get a glass of water. Anybody else want something? Step outside with your phone in your hand. Oh, I'll be right back, I gotta take this. Give yourself a 3-minute reset in the car. Text a safe friend. Small exits prevent emotional collisions. You can also anchor your frequency before you walk in. Remind yourself, they don't know who I am. I'm not the person they think they know. Remember, keep the focus on what's going on with them, not me. And a couple practical tools for maintaining sovereignty. Box breathing, 4 seconds in, 2-second hold, 6 seconds out. This tells your nervous system to stand down. We're safe. There's also the quote-unquote cold interrupt, literally cold. When you feel yourself heating up with embarrassment, with anger, with frustration, touch something cold, glass of water, ice, metal, typically on your wrist, the inside of your wrist where the nurse takes your pulse when you go to the doctor. It literally provides an instant break to your nervous system. It causes interference in the electrical signal that keeps you flushing and angry. Release your jaw and shoulders in the bathroom, in the car. Move your facial muscles. Open your mouth and rotate your jaw 5 times in each direction. This helps you keep from clenching your jaw. And when you're not clenching your jaw, the rest of your face loosens up quite a bit. When looking from person to person, look at each of them in the area of the third eye. They'll think you're making eye contact. They'll think they're making eye contact, but they won't be able to access your energy. And it'll be easier not to mirror their facial expressions, which will help you keep your mood under your control. Breathe easy and keep your voice steady. And if you can manage it, if you can manage to add a little lilt of amusement, somebody says something funny about when you were a kid, something that used to embarrass you when you were a kid. You keep yeah, man, good times. If you can manage to be amused, it takes a lot of sting out of what they're trying to do to you. But be careful with this one, as it can be read as condescension and cause problems. Now, if that's your desire, go for it. But, you're like, I'm hoping that you're looking for some peace and joy. Keep your gaze steady, shifting it slowly rather than flicking back and forth or around. When you flick your gaze here, there, all over the place, it signals nervousness and agitation. But an intentional glance or a look from one person to the other, slowly, intentionally, lets them know that they can't get under your skin. But that nervousness, that flicking back and forth, does exactly the opposite. It shows them that they are getting under your skin. So, when necessary, also, here's another thing you can do. When you make your point, suppose you get involved in, dragged into one of those old conversations yet again. When you make your point and your point is done, excuse yourself to the restroom or the kitchen, closing the door on your part of the conversation. This demonstrates finality and your sovereignty regarding the issue. You don't need to hear anything else because you have said your piece, period. And whatever they have to say after that makes no difference to you. It's a quiet power move. Yeah. Blah, 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 yakety schmackety, blah, 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 yakety schmackety. And then you say your piece, and as you do, you're getting up. Excuse me, I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Keep talking amongst yourselves. So, if you can say that, keep talking amongst yourselves, or even infer it, that is a really, really big power move, because it tells them that whatever they have to say means nothing to you. So before you go on stage, remember a few things. You aren't returning to them. It's very likely that they don't know you. They only know the person that you once were. Holiday programming isn't destiny. It's kind of a muscle memory. And it's an emotional muscle memory. And that kind of memory can be rewritten. It just takes intent. And it takes knowing yourself. Your job this season isn't to maintain the emotional architecture of a room. It's not to be the scales of justice in the family. It's not to be whatever they think that you're supposed to be. Your job is to maintain yourself, your sovereignty, and your joy where you can find it. So, if you're heading into the holidays freaked out by the prospect of those old patterns, there are a few points that you can anchor with. First, you don't shrink for anyone. You don't have to. You don't perform for anyone. That's not your role. And you are not a character in their play. You're the lead in your own life story. They'll likely never see you any other way than as a character in each of their lives, and that's okay, because that's the way everybody looks at other people in their lives. Everybody's primary character in their own life is themselves, and that's the way that it should be. And I'm not talking about being selfish or rude or cruel or anything like that. I'm talking about putting yourself first. You cannot have a fulfilling life if you do not find a way to put your needs, your joys, your bliss, your solitude, your serenity, your, what's the word I'm looking for? Serenity, solitude, your sovereignty first. When you are secure in all those aspects of yourself, then you can find that joy in helping other people. And that joy becomes, that helping other people, those outside aspects of things help boost you and bolster you and your life and your joy. But there are people out there that will never, ever see you any other way than how they knew you 10 years ago, 10 minutes ago, 5 years ago, 50 years ago. They're always going to see one or two instances, because that's all that they need you to be in their lives. And God help you if you grow beyond their needs. So, you get to be who you are now for yourself. And that's all that matters. Because the people who love you, really, really love you as you are today, those are the people that deserve your energy. So that's all I got till next week. And coming up on the 28th, I have a special podcast with Michelle Birch from eMotion Wellness here in Austin. She's a multimodality spinal flow practitioner who's going to tell us all about what she does and how it can help you through the holidays and into a happier, healthier new year. So until next week, Now, mind you, next week is going to be the 19th, so we're not there yet. I need a little bit of time. So until next week, where we move on to the next segment in Surviving the Holidays, mind your energy. You are allowed to protect yourself and your energy and your sovereignty without apology. Stay safe, stay well, and stay integrated.